Winter is here, and so are the harness duels. It's time to celebrate a year of harness racing excellence. The new kids on the block.
Things weren't looking too flash at the start, but Highgrove's going to do it.
True fantasy. Boy, what a win that has been. Montana DJ just gets his head in front.
The superstars.
Copy that and band to the phone. Copy that for the Taylor Mile.
Dominant in a season like no other.
He has too much courage under fire. Krug in another Derby win. What a mighty animal. It's Amazing Dreams. 6 Group 1s. What a star. Amazing Dream. Absolutely brilliant.
A season of early mornings, long evenings, race nights and race days, of effort, joy, sweat, tears. Harness racing's finest, all on show on one amazing day of racing. 9 Group 1s. $900,000. It's time for the 2021 IRT Harness Duels. They're back.
On the way back in, I'm a bit run down here at the moment. Let me think about it, please.
Well, it all comes to a head at 12:17 on Sunday out of the Cambridge Raceway. Just having a look at the forecast. It might just be getting a little better than first anticipated there for the 9 Group 1s. We have the 14th edition this year with IRT once again. With the 9 races, we'll be previewing it over the next hour or so with you to try and find you a winner or 9. Craig Thompson knows what it's like to find 9 on the card at Cambridge, and we'll be doing our best. Morning to you.
Yeah, morning, Matt. Lovely to be working with you this morning. Morning, viewers. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, what happened last Friday at midday when Grego pushed that button at Harness Racing New Zealand to find the barrier jaws changed what we're talking about in the next 60 minutes, because we've got Amazing Dream, who was $1.15 5 days ago, up to $1.85. Matt, and I mean, it's really made a lot of talking points. You would have been at Eddington Friday. I was at Alexandra Park Friday night. Every person that wanted to talk to me about the barrier draws and how it's unfolded, how Krug's drawn second row, how Copy That's gone from the favourite to barrier 13. Mate, there's a lot to talk to in the next 65 minutes. I'm really looking forward to going through the show.
Had Amazing Dream, Copy That, Krug, all drawn the front row. We'd be sitting here slumped in the chair going, oh, well, what? You're going to go $1.40, $1.40, $1.40. But now there's plenty to talk about, especially that last race with Copy That.
Well, that's right. And I mean, also the BD Joe race, the way the barrier draws, do you drive for the favourite to get beaten? This is things we're going to touch on next 75 minutes.
OK, well, one man who's going to bring us all of the information is Marc Cookson, and he's standing by at Pukekohe, the hub of harness racing here in the north. Great to have you on the show, Marc. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Matt, and good morning to you too as well, Craig. It's a bit of a rainy day here at the Franklin Park Training Centre in Pukekohe, but there's a lot of activity happening here as we get set for IRT Harness Duels Day 2021. Over the next hour, I'm going to be visiting a few of the barns. Plenty of Canterbury visitors are here. The Hayden Cullen stable will have a word to Hayden about all of the Rolleston team's chances across Duels Day 2021. We'll hear from Robert Dunn about his major chances, including his 2-year-old trotter Highgrove, and how confident he is that the 2-year-old can trot all of the way. It's got plenty of money on it this coming Sunday. And we'll hear as well from Craig Edmonds. Craig and daughter Amy Edmonds have 5 wise men who's got those Group 1s under the belt, the 2 derbies, and of course we'll go into Duels Day with a very tough barrier number 7. And we'll hear from Crandell Getty as Krug is set to face that very tough draw in a very competitive race this coming weekend as well. We'll see how Krug is doing off the back of that second at Alexandra Park last week. So sit back, relax, and we'll try and get all of the good oil here for you from South Auckland.
Nice one, Marc. Thank you. And we'll be back with you very shortly to talk to Hayden Cullen regarding Amazing Dream. But we're here to try and make you some money, and the main man to talk about the money is Matt Peden from the Bookmakers Desk. Good morning, Matt. Thanks for joining us here on the Harness Duels preview show. What's the reaction been like from your team of bookmakers post the barrier draws? So Matt's not quite with us. We'll get to him very shortly. Craig, I think it's a poignant thing to mention that the work of both the Cambridge Raceway and HRNZ in the lead up to Sunday.
Well, I think they've done phenomenal promotional jobs. Harness Racing New Zealand, they're going to actually have a special edition preview on Thursday around about 10 o'clock in the morning, talking to Dave DeSoma and the boys. They've done a great job, and 9 stories on 9 races there. There'll be a lot of information there. So get on HRNZ Thursday morning, plenty to read about.
Sold out as well, mostly?
Well, general admission tickets, I think it's going to be a great walking day. It's a long weekend. It's a Sunday, Matt. There's going to be obviously the galloping fraternity that aren't going to be at the races on Saturday. They'll be at the track on Sunday. The corporates are all done. The weather's just got to play its part. But I'm looking forward to it. They missed last year. I think this year's worked out really well for them. We've got all of the main contenders there, or majority of the main contenders there, and they've all got awkward draws.
Met service at the moment, 17 degrees Sunday. In their words, cloudy with a few showers and northeasterly.
Do you trust
so
them?
Fingers crossed.
Do you trust them?
I don't know. I don't know that anybody knows, do they?
Oh, well, we'll wait and see, Matt. But I'm thinking at this stage, the long-range forecast is good.
OK, you put together speed maps for us right across the card. We'll get to the first one very shortly. It is the Woodland Stud, 4-year-old Diamond and Amazing Dream, coming up with barrier number 1 on the second row. 185, the 7-time Group 1 winner, Hayden Cullen, remarkably for what's been a season and a half for him, currently sits on 49 victories. So he's done a fantastic job. She'll get her chance if she can get out. Needs You Now at $2.30. Speed-wise, Whale, Need You Now the logical go-forward horse?
Oh, absolutely. When we look at the map, I think Pearl Harbour's got enough gate speed to hold initially, but she won't want to stay there. Her best races have been when she's had a bit of cover and she can then use her speed at the end of her race. But as we see here, she looks your initial leader. Need You Now will come across, and I don't think Nathan wants to get involved with John, and I think they'll probably lead trail. A little bit of gate speed, Mimi Coco backing up on a short backup from Friday night, had a tough run, so I don't think he'll get too involved. And then you get out wider to Tasgirl, Bromac and down the hatch. But yeah, inside draw, Pearl Harbour, Need You Now, clearly 2 out.
Could it be shades of Rocker Band's win in this race a couple of years ago for Amazing Dream, where she does get planted on the pegs and then tries to get off down the back?
Well, I think Nelly is the perfect driver. You want to go into a race with more than one scenario. You don't want to go in with plan A. You've got to have plan B, plan C as well. And Nelly's that type of driver. I think she knows Pearl Harbour will get her off the gate nicely. Does she want to follow through, or does she want to take the chance that she goes back from the draw? I think she'll probably follow out Pearl Harbour. I think she'll get her into the race early on. You don't want to be going back 14 lengths off them after 400 metres when your second favourite's a long way in front. She's 21 rating points higher than any other horse in this race. Other than Copy That, she's the clear best horse in this meeting. So she deserves to be that $1.85. And I believe, Matt, she won't last. This is her last start performance at Alexandra Park last week, beating Copy That. Blue cap Olivia Thornley. Copy That got softened up mid-stages, but she's had a lovely preparation, Matt. She's been up here for a while. Obviously, she raced at Auckland last week. She's had a week between races. It's now a fortnight. She hasn't had that long trip up here. I think she's still on the up and up. And, mate, I don't believe $1.85 will last. I think she'll be one of the really well-backed runners closer to start time.
She's $54,000 from becoming another New Zealand mare to break the $1 million mark, and the man who has her in his care is Hayden Cullen. And a short time ago, Mark asked Hayden if the jewels would be enough to secure her as Mare of the Year.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. Yeah, she's a lovely mare. She's done a super job, and she's going to need a fair bit of luck on Sunday. But if Nat can find a way out, she's going to be a great chance.
And that's the key, I suppose, with that difficult draw, but she certainly can do a number on the rest of this field.
That's right, yeah, she probably looks the class mare in the field, but as I say, I don't really know what Nat's going to do from the draw, but she'll work it out, I guess, and she will go an honest race.
And I'm picking if you're Hayden Cullen, you're probably not really too worried about what Nat's going to do, are you?
You put the gear on and you just hope that he steers in the right direction. I mean, perfect preparation. Barrier draw makes it interesting, but clearly the best mare. I mean, Auckland Cup winner here. The second horse we're going to talk about now, Need You Now, was beaten by her in the Mares' Championship. When we look at that video here, she led from barrier 2, Matt. Brilliant gate speed, found the front. At the winning post, she let Amazing Dream go. Now, have a look at how close she gets at the end of this race. That's another Group 1 winner out in third spot there, and Watch Me Now. So this is a very good field. And she closes into about a half a length. But what Amazing Dream does is, when it comes into a dogfight, she lifts another neck, a half length, and she gets away again at the line. Clearly, there's a difference between the two. One's a multiple Group 1 winner. One's got a barrier draw. I'm not prepared to take $2.30 about Need You Now. I am prepared to take $1.85 about Amazing Dream.
Well, let's see what Robert Dunn has to say. A short time ago, Mark spoke to him about the mare with the gate advantage over her rivals.
Yeah, we have, luckily, the champ's drawn the second line. But we've got a draw I think Johnny can work with, really. She's got great gate speed, and she's a great front-running horse. So I think we have to, take it as an advantage to us. Probably go forward and try and lead up. There is gate speed inside of her, but I think she might eventually work to the lead. I think most horses would want to hand up to her, and it's a great chance for her to make the race very exciting.
What did you make of her recent runs in the lead-up? Obviously, it's been a wee while since she's won.
It is a wee while. She's had a lot of bad draws right through the campaign. And, of course, we raced her in the Messenger and Taylor Mile. They were two tough old races. She didn't draw the best in either of those, but she got home strongly in both of them. So pretty happy there. And it was a very good second. We sat parked and found the line very strongly, and we're pretty happy with her form. So going to the race, she couldn't be better, really.
Marc Cookson and Robert Dunn will be back shortly to talk about Highgrove, who we'll see in race number 2. Craig, simple as this, Amazing Dream, if she gets out, she wins? I think
so. I think she's a very, very good mare that will continue on that Group 1 winning run. I mean, you've got to find some value. There are $10,000 guaranteed first fours, so a lot of people aren't going to play the $1.85 favourites, but you can work around a first four. I believe there's only 2 outside chances outside Need You Now. They're Pearl Harbour and Plutonium Lady. So you've got to find one of those 2 to run your top 3. I've gone Pearl Harbour, you've gone Plutonium Lady along with Marc Cookson. They're the clear 4 best horses or 4 best mares in this race, and I'd be surprised if that's not your trifecta. Well,
Plutonium Lady looked to go maybe a couple of lengths below her best in her last 2 runs, but her trial on Saturday at Cambridge was good, 56.4, 27 under a hold. So
she actually went quicker, Matt. I actually clocked this morning. She ran 55.8.
Beautiful.
And she hit the line really,
That's what
really
you're
good.
here for.
I mean, she's a mare that, had she drawn the front with her gate speed, should be half the quote she is now. Should be $7. But because she's drawn second row and she's going to settle at the back half of the field, you're getting $13. But she absolutely can run top 4. Remember, top 4 market comes out Saturday, and along with head-to-heads and the guaranteed first fours, we've got plenty to play into.
Well, Matt Peden is with us now. Matt, are the punters at all put off by Amazing Dream's barrier draw?
Matt, it's interesting. In terms of the win book, it's quite a quiet market, not a lot of activity going on, but through the multi-column, every single multi kicks off the day through Amazing Dream at that 185 quote. Interestingly, there's been good support on the each-way basis for Pearl Harbour. They're happy to take the $11, the $12 and the $13 that was on offer, particularly on an each-way basis.
Just quickly, we've got Highgrove's race coming up next, the 2-year-old. Plenty of support for him, is there?
He's been the best backed, one of the best backed runners of the day. 2 $4,000 bets at that $2.40 quote, now into $2.20.
Beautiful. OK, race number 2 is the 2-year-old Ruby this year with Montana Food and Events over the mile. He's $2.50 into $2.20, $2.50 up to $2.80 Mystic Max. You were all surprised that there's been that switch in the market?
Well, no, because he's been clearly the best horse. My concern is I'm not overly keen to back a horse that's galloped in its last 2 starts, albeit one of them he still got up to win. There is that massive concern. They've got a fortnight to rectify that, Matt. And I actually think the barrier draw at barrier 7 actually does him a lot of favours. I'd rather have him at 7 than at 2.
Definitely.
Now, that sounds funny, but the reason why is because I think it gives him more chance and more manoeuvrability to stay out of trouble and get into his own rhythm. Had he drawn barrier 2, he's forced to hustle and bustle. I don't like Highgrove being hustled and bustled.
Yeah, John Dunn gave a bit of confidence with his interview on Monday with Michael Guerin as well, which is always a big plus. Look, his Ashburton run was very similar in terms of where he was drawn, and he got himself into the race, and there was no match for him. What do you see happening at the start from the inside, with particular reference with the inside 4 runners who do all look genuine chances in terms of the place, at least, barring Mystic Max, who might be a win hope if Highgrove does something wrong?
Absolutely. When I did these maps, and you know with 2-year-old trotters, these maps can change in a heartbeat. I mean, half of them could gallop in the score up, and I guarantee you, come the day, there'll be 2 or 3 that will gallop early on in this race. But how I do see it is Mr. Love actually got off the gate really good the other day at Addington, drew out wide, got across him, got a lovely run from there, and then got left posted. I thought it went very well. Arwell's always had good gate speed. I don't think it'll stay in front, but it could be in the trail. And then out wider, you've got the more major contenders, the Mystic Max and the Highgrove.
We'll go back to his Ashburton run, Highgrove. 157.1 mile rate he ran this day. Well, that would be good enough to win 11 of the 13 duels so far, mile rate wise. 57.9 by 8.5 lengths. 2-year-olds, you just don't see them win like this.
And this is what I mean about barrier draws when he's drawn wide. He drew the outside outside gate this day, Matt, so he was given plenty of manoeuvrability. He got plenty of a chance to just find his feet, worked around them, went forward, dominated from the 1200, and this is a massive margin at the end. And there's some good horses. This is Mystic Max after an early gallop running into second. Thought he was very good afterwards as well. But that's the best version of Highgrove. I've just not seen that since Ashburton. His last two starts have been a little bit wishy-washy, Matt. I thought the win 2 starts ago, very good. Last start, no excuses for me. I thought he galloped on his own accord twice. When the first time he got round a galloping runner and then galloped, and then he galloped again at the 400. And this is what I mean. This is at the start at his last start, Matt. You can see him there in the harness jewels colours. Now, there's no interference there, but he just gallops for no reason. Mystic Max goes on to win the race, and when we pick it up again at the 400 metre mark, you'll see that Highgrove's caught them and has got back into the race, but it yet again gallops again for no reason. Wasn't under pressure, looked to be travelling quite nicely. That's Mystic Max getting to the outside. You can see the very, very good Mr. Love having to do a lot of work in the Greg
He did all the donkey work for Mystic Max.
Well, he carted Mystic Max into the race, and that's why I like him to run top 3, Matt, because I thought it was a really good effort, and he's got a barrier draw he can use. But on Mystic Max, what I like about him, when he won his race in April, he trotted 2:31. Then he's gone back in May and he's trotted 2:29. He's gaining 2 seconds a month. What you want to see, and when I say that, it is a horse that is on the improve and is running faster times month to month. And what you've got to do to win a Jules is you've got to lift 2 lengths. So can he lift 2 lengths again from May into June? He did that from April into May.
I really think Mr. Love can after that run there. Look, he's $13 to win the race compared to Mystic Max's $2.80. And, and he probably was in need of that run last time. And speaking with Ben Hope yesterday, though, got a decent opinion of this horse, so I wouldn't be shy to say he's a genuine top 3 player.
I think the market will move considerably here because I do believe they've got them too close together, and we've seen that in the last 24 hours. We've seen Highgrove 250 into 220, Mystic Max 250 out of 280, and I believe he'll probably get out to over $3 come the day.
Just quickly on that, so let's say you're sitting there on a Sunday, your Gallops punters don't have anything to bet on, they see John Robert Dunn, they see Natalie Rasmussen, Hayden Cullen, Mark Purdon. Does that therefore put a horse like Highgrove, for want of a better term, at vulnerability of starting unders because of all of that support?
Absolutely. I mean, it's no difference. Our Australian viewers will bet into these races as well, and they know these 2 major stables. I mean, they know Natalie Rasmussen, they know John Dunn, they know they're aggressive drivers, they're Group 1 drivers. They're not scared to get into a dogfight, so they'll back them. They're not so keen to back the unknown stables, and that's a reason for the likes of Michael Purdon. Now, he's got the best second chance in the race. But the stables, the galloping punters and the Australian viewers haven't heard of him.
What do you think Highgrove will start?
I believe he'll start around $2, and I believe that Mystic Max will get over $3.
OK, Highgrove's trainer is Robert Dunn. A short time, Marc Cookson asked him where he was at with this horse's manners.
Well, a lot better than last week, and he'd have to be, of course. It was disappointing. He got pretty wound up at the races, Mark, and we couldn't sort of get him settled at all, which is unlike him. He's generally a pretty chilled out sort of a horse. And once that horse of Gavin's galloped in front of him for a few strides and Johnny had to step round it, whilst it shouldn't have been, a false start, he didn't break it all, but he sort of started chasing them, and he got a wee bit, because he was a wee bit nervous on the night, he got a wee bit bully on it, and just Johnny said he was sort of chasing the whole way, and then he made a break and then a couple more. We sort of have, put that behind us. His work's been, he's settled in beautifully here. That's him just actually behind us now going up the track. And he's, he's settled in beautifully and his work's been good, so fingers crossed.
Beautiful big son of love you that he is, and he was just about half asleep there in the background, wasn't he?
Well, you like to see that. I mean, it's been a long campaign for these 2-year-olds. I think it's start 11 for Highgrove, so it's not like he's only been up for a short while, Matt, and there's a lot more in front of him. So Roberts had to peak him, drop him, peak him, drop him, and hopefully he peaks him for Sunday. But he's the horse to beat, no doubt about it. I have my concerns about Cambridge for him, being a big horse, but I think he's the horse going forward, that'll be a star as a 3-year-old. So I'll put him on top. Best value for me, Mr. Love, $3 a place. I just think he's got the barrier draw, informed stable, on the up and up, definite top 4 chance.
I think in a year's time we'll be talking about Mystic Max being, Mr. Love, being right up there, top level sort of 3-year-old sort of stuff. Well, one horse who has shown that he is top level 2-year-old is Mystic Max, and a couple of weeks ago I had the opportunity to head out and catch up with his young trainer, Michael Purdon.
Oh, yellow. Highgrove out the back's gone for another gallop. Ilaria Sand and Mr. Love locked wheels. Wi-Fi back to the inside, and here's Mystic Max down the middle. Mystic Max joins in with Toro Stride. Mr. Love through the middle. Wi-Fi up the inner. It's Mystic Max and Wi-Fi at the 50. Mystic Max digging deep, giving plenty, and Mystic Max got it. Mystic Max won the Group 2, beat Wi-Fi. The horse that was purchased as an early yearling of Gavel House purely for the fact of Michael Purdon and his interest in European trotting with the sire Village Mystic is tonight at the Addington Raceway, a Group 2 winner of the Lone Star Sire Stakes 2-year-old champs.
What were your first impressions of him when he turned up?
Wow. Yeah, just for his age, he was quite solid. And you know, as soon as he came off the float, he didn't seem too distressed about where he was or anything. He just took it all in, and it's like he'd been there the whole time. You know, I just happened to have a look at Gavel House. You know, I do most of the time to see what they got offering, and I saw him there, and being a son of Village Mystic, I thought, oh wow, got to have a crack at this. And I did, and was fortunate enough to be able to get him.
Did you have to go very high for him? Was there any bidding wars to get your hands on him?
RJ was apparently the underbidder. Might have just been a touch quicker on the computer than what he was, and he ended up getting him for 9 or 10. Yeah.
How did your passion for Village Mystic come around?
Break kicked off when I was working at Melbourne for Anton Galino. The way he'd talk about the European racing, and he spent a long time over there. Just hearing stories from what he had done, started following the racing a bit more, and so I was well aware of the Stallions' achievements over in France, and thought, give him a crack.
One on is Mystic Max from Riquero Blaze. Highgrove is a minute in front of the 200 metres.
Yeah, Highgrove's shown when he's doing things right, he's a very smart animal. Though, you know, in saying that, I don't think he'd just shrug my fella off. If my fella did everything right as well, I think he'd certainly notice his presence.
Grown up watching Dad Mark win duels galore, heading to Cambridge yourself, that must be give you a great thrill.
Yeah, it's a great thrill. You know, quite lucky, you know, Dad being who he is and being able to call on his wisdom to help guide me leading into a Group 1.
Great opportunity to head out and catch up with Michael Purdon, trainer and full owner of Mystic Max.
Yeah.
Nice little wee put into the kitty for him after the sires
Well,
win.
it just shows you, Matt, $9,000 to purchase a horse. I mean, that's now racing for $100,000 in a Group 1. I mean, it's a wonderful story, and it wouldn't be nice. He's got his father there at the moment helping him out working these horses for the last 10 days. He's been up for a while, and yeah, it's a feel-good story and a good story, because it would be lovely for a young guy to get a Group 1 winner.
Absolutely, it will. We'll bet a twist will head around as one of the shortest priced favourites of the day. In the Dunstan Horse Feeds 3-year-old Diamonds, there she is, $1.55, Craig Thompson. $3.40 for La Rosa, $7 off and gone. A little bit of a spec around her price off the inside. But what was your reaction to the $1.55 post-barrier draw?
Well, I thought it was probably fair. I don't think it's overs and I don't think it's unders. I would have had it at $1.50. What you do is you map your own market, you know, and you decide whether it's value or not, and I think they've got it exactly right at $1.55. Barrier 8's not a great draw for her, we know that, but she doesn't have great gate speed anywhere, Matt. I mean, every time that she's won, she's never blasted off the gate. She's always worked to the breeze or she's worked to the front mid-stages. No difference, it's just harder to do around Cambridge than it is to do around any other track.
Well, when Greg O'Connor spoke to Natalie Rasmussen earlier on in the week, she suggested that La Rosa was going to be awfully hard to beat, and the speed map would suggest she's going to get her chance.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's different 1980 at Addington than it is 1609 at Cambridge, because you've got less time to get into the race. La Rosa maps to lead here from barrier number 3. Often Gone, I think, will sit in the trial because it's the perfect place to be behind the second favourite. And then it's how long does it take for your $1.55 favourite to get outside La Rosa? She's not going to be in front of her, but how long does it take to get outside her? And is it going to be at the bell or is it going to be at the 800 metre mark, Matt? That's the key to this race. She's got to get into a dogfight. For me, for Better Twist to win, she's got to be putting the pressure on an awful long way out. She can't afford to wait to the 600 to do it.
Well, she put the pressure on here in the Oaks at her most recent start. Better Twist loomed into it. La Rosa, look, she'd probably win 20 out of the last 30 Oaks with the run, but she's just run into a champion filly.
But it happens year in, year out where you see very good horses. Classic Brigade's a classic example. We keep running into Lazarus. Had Lazarus not been there, he would have probably won 7 or 8 Group 1s. But she's run into a superstar filly in Better Twist. She has got the advantage of the draw. She will be your leader, no excuses. She's clearly your second pick in the race because she'll be in front. But is there any value in it? Better Twist is a better filly. She's proven to be a better filly, but La Rosa gets her chance this week.
Often Gone ran the second best last mile there, 153.7 for a 2,600 metre race.
Yep.
Almost unheard of 5-6 years ago for fillies to be running those sort of times off the back of a staying event.
And when we look at her video, you'll see that she's a very potent horse with the right run. We saw that a couple of starts ago, Matt. And when she gets that right run, she can finish it off. Perfect barrier draw. She's actually the bet in the race. From barrier 1, she's going to either lead or trail, more likely trail. From there, she's absolute top 3, and she's at a better price and Better Twisters to win. So she's the bet.
Okay, Better Twists trainer Hayden Cullen, he's enjoying the ride with this wonderful filly.
She's come for it very well. If anything, she's probably a bit sharper than she's ever been, you know. So I'm really happy with her. She's healthy and well, and you know, work's been great at home. So yeah, she's drawn a horrid draw really. It's probably La Rosa's race to lose. To be fair, the way she's been going, she's had a bit of a purple patch at the moment. So yeah, she's going to be a great chance, but she's going to have to be very good to win.
And she is good, she's gutsy and she's versatile. If anyone could take on La Rosa from the draw that Better Twist's got, it's her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's going to have to get outside her at some stage there, Mark, and you know, it'll be survival of the fittest, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the tempo of the race and how it's run, as it was in the Neville final, Craig, at Group 1. You've got Darling Me, who was luckless in this race, Often Gone, very good. La Rosa found the line well. What do you take out of this Group 1 event heading into Sunday?
Well, what I thought I took out of this event was that she had a very good run, and then she went into the Oaks and probably just had a tough run leading into that. The Oaks run wasn't ideal, but this run, when she posited it on the back of a very good filly and dashed up the inside and runs into a clear second, I thought it was an excellent run. As I said, she hasn't gone on a bad race all season. She's got the barrier draw to use. Absolute top 3 chance. And as I said, $1.75. I think it's pretty good money.
Well, Robert Dunn trains Often Gone, and Mark asked him a short time ago what he made of her off the gate.
Well, you know, one good draw for the day we'll take. Well, we've actually got 2, which is about right for the Jules Day for us. We've got to use that draw. She's got super speed herself. And, of course, La Rosa is the key to this race, I feel. La Rosa leads, she'll stay in front. If she doesn't lead, we'll stay in front. And because, you know, we've got to utilise the draw and utilise the fact that, you know, the other champs are drawing out wide. So we've got to, you know, we've got to go forward. Hopefully La Rosa will lead. If she doesn't lead, as I said, we'll lead. And she couldn't be better off and gone. I mean, bad draw in the Oaks, bad draw in the Neville fillies. So got to put that behind us. Now we've got a good draw. So let's hope it comes into play and she can, you know, be right there at the finish.
Craig, I'm picking they'll be happy to take a trail behind La Rosa.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is that possibility La Rosa doesn't score up. We've seen that in the past. But, I mean, she's been good of late. And
she can fly the gate when she does.
Well, she can. Have a look at this. This is when she drew barrier 7 and crossed them very, very easily. We saw it again in the Oaks. Again, good gate speed out wide, gets across them. I map her finding the front, and she's going to be really hard to beat around a really tight turning track at Cambridge. If you're on the market pegs, Matt, it's a huge advantage. Even for Better Twist, as good as she is, sitting parked out at Cambridge is a lot different sitting parked out than Eddington.
OK, well, there she is, La Rosa, holding off a brave Often Gone. Do you see her as a horse that you could back, Craig, La Rosa?
I think her price at the moment is about what she's going to start on the day. So if you think she's going to drift, I don't think that'll happen. I think Better Twist is always going to take money, but people will react on La Rosa's performance in the last 2 weeks and love to be on a leader. So I think if you're going to back outside the favourite, she's your next best bet. If you're going to back something for a place, you're going to back the horse that's drawn barrier 1. I
thought Darling Me off the second row, if you're playing those top 4 markets, even a wider trifecta pool. She was luckless in the size, obviously scratched out of the Oaks. She's a very, very good filly when she's on song.
I talked to Steve Telfer on Friday about her, and he just said, listen, we're not going to take her to the workouts. She's had a trip back. They've treated her for it. They're more happy with her. They're going to work on Tuesday morning, get a better guide for her. My concern is missing that race and then missing work leading into this race. She, on her form leading into the Oaks, was a great place bet. She's had a little bit of a hiccup, a little bit of wait and see. I'll see how she parades on Sunday.
OK, well, John Morrison is aboard Life's a Beach Straw in the second row. She's been ultra consistent through her campaign just keeps getting better and better. And a couple of weeks ago, I went out to his base and we had a chat about his career and all, and this very talented filly.
We're in the cup, so hopefully we win.
How many years ago?
Oh, shit. When was that? That was a long time ago now.
You probably can't say shit. Let's start again. Right, we're going for real this time. Okay. Clearly a young man with one thing on your mind and one thing only, though.
Yeah, at that stage, that's all it was. I remember when I was really young, I probably wasn't that into the horses, and then I remember I stayed at home one day because I was made out I was sick where I really wasn't, and Dad went to the races with one horse and it won, and we got that much excitement out of it winning. I just started going to the races after that, and we didn't get a winner for another 12 years, I don't think, but I kept going. But yeah, after that it was just racing.
Over backseat check, here's My Sisters, a star storming home. Motu Speedy Star hanging on. This is win one for John Morrison, you better believe it. Brilliant victory, and good young kid gets the winning post first for the first time. That's a highlight today.
Life's a Beach probably has been a big part of this season, really. I started on her as a maid, and she done a really good job in a short time to be where she is now. And Tony's done a great job from where she was a few months ago to where she is now. And yeah, she's a very good trainer, Tony, as we know over the years. And yeah, she's a lovely wee filly. We can see that she can do a bit of work and finish it off, and she can be driven for one run. And yeah, sort of one of those horses that can do a bit of everything in a race and still be thereabouts.
Brave, very brave in the Southland Oaks.
Very, very brave there. She won a cracking race there, really. And she was still closing in even the last bit as well, so yeah, it was one of those races. It's, you know, like she won a good race, and you know, over 2-7 she really stuck it out well. So yeah, we just need the luck and the right draws and things in those big races, and yeah, when it works out it's all good. But yeah, she's going good anyway.
Over a mile around Cambridge.
Don't think it would worry her if the speed was on. She can follow speed, she's got speed herself. It's sort of tempo races doesn't really worry her too much. She's sort of got enough to capitalise, but obviously you still need to get the good trip through the middle, and that most of the time in those big races you've got to be in the right spots. So yeah, I think just as long as she gets a decent trip, she could figure there somewhere.
And Life's a Beach could be the horse to get you a Group 1. What would that feel like on Jules Day at Cambridge with the big crowd there wearing the Woodlands colours?
Well, it'd be a good feeling, but it's just got to get there first, don't you? I suppose that's the main thing. But it'll be a good feeling. But I try not to think too much about those things. Just try to get there and get the job done. It's the main thing. But yeah, it'd be one of those. Yeah, just being on a big day like that would be tops, really. I suppose it would be pretty big. I've been really lucky with all the people that have supported me. Like, I've got a lot of people that support me, and I only get the reins for 10 minutes or so, and they're the ones behind the scenes that do all the work.
Leading the junior premiership once again is John Morrison, currently on 49 victories, and there'll be a no pressure scenario second row with Life's a Beach in the 3-year-old Diamonds. The Hardwood Breeding Syndicate 2-year-old Diamond is up next for us to look at though, and the favourite here, Craig Thompson, surprise, surprise, True Fantasy. Sits 4 wide over 1,700 metres. How do they beat her drawn barrier 3 over a mile around Cambridge?
Well, I don't think they do. I think $1.45, $1.30, very hard to back that price, Matt, but she is way being the best filly this time in. I mean, she's copped horrible draws. I think she's drawn outside 2 draws in second row in her last 3 starts and still performed unbelievably. She's a benchmark of the 2-year-old fillies. She'll wear the Harness Jewels colours. She should be winning.
Does Mickey Montana try and hold up the inside and maybe hand to True Fantasy, or do you see Better You clearing Mickey Montana?
With
really?
Mickey Montana, she's got an awful gait. Paces like a crab. Now, that's nothing against little Mickey Montana, but she's never had gate speed. She's always been rough in her gait. And I think left-handed probably suits her better than right-handed, but she's never been quick out. I do believe a Better You will get across her, and then more than likely either hand to a stablemate, Suntan, or more than likely True Fantasy. So
I was going to ask you that. Is there the opportunity that maybe Suntan pushes the button and True Fantasy sits in the trail?
Well, if you go and have a look at their runs when they raced at Alexandra Park over 1700, both Suntan and A Better You both got off the gate nicely. So they've got options, and True Fantasy doesn't have to lead. We've seen her be potent from everywhere other than being in front. So she doesn't have to be in front, but from that draw, no doubt she'll get there.
Yeah, Suntan was excellent here, getting around to Parked in the Jules colours wide out True Fantasy. They were no match for her, but Suntan, considering the work that it had done and how fair and square she'd beaten A Better You here, is she...
She's flying under the radar.
Yeah.
She's flying under the radar because you've got such a very good and dominant stablemate. But she's done nothing wrong. Probably the only concern on her, that they had a little bit of an injury concern with her during the week. Abrasions only, nothing major, but obviously they're going to monitor that in the next 48 hours. I don't like horses having a little bit of uninterrupted preparation 8 days or 7 days out from the main event, but they've got plenty of time to work on it, Matt. We're only Wednesday. There's still 4 days to the Jules.
She was excellent here, Suntan, as was A Better You. Showed an excellent turn of foot this night, 56.3, 27.5 off the front, and Mr. Kaplan wasn't all that bad either.
Well, a dead set chalk and cheese, these two. A Better You and its stablemate Suntan. A Better You was really good here. She's a little diminutive type versus Suntan's that big, aggressive filly that, you know, is going to grow into a really nice 3-year-old. A Better You's more of a natural 2-year-old. I think she's doing a great job. Brecken Farms, God, aren't they having a great run at the moment? Obviously, Better Twist. This filly looks like she's going to be nice for next season as well. I think she's a major contender to run top 3, and she's my best value outside the favourite.
Okay, and they'll have a regular tyre heading around in the 3-year-old Ruby as well. Well, True Fantasy, she's at the top of the pecking order now. A short time ago, Marc Cookson asked whether that has always been the case in Hayden Cullen's opinion.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, she's always been a lovely filly, but she just took a few starts, you know, to get her ringcraft together, and you know, she's really proving it on the track at the moment.
And now we come to the Jules, and she finally gets a draw.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, I thought she was very honest last time out. She had to work hard off the gate and sit outside them the whole way, and just got popped up the lane by another one. But you know, her work's been very good, and very happy with her going into the Jules on Sunday.
And the way that the draws go around Cambridge, that certainly helps A Better You.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, she's a lovely wee filly too. She's a good speed horse as well. You know, she's been driven quite hard last few, and she just hasn't quite got home. So, yeah, if she can land the trail or somewhere handy with a bit of cover, she'll be getting home good too.
There was a bit of a mishap at the weekend with Suntan. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, she bloody thinking she just shied at a wee pony on the track there, and mind you, she'd been jogging past it for about 20 minutes before that, so she spun around and flipped the cart over, and yeah, she just hurt her leg a wee bit, but she's sound, and she's just fast worked twice since then, and yeah, we just got to get a bit of swelling out of her leg, but hey, she seems well, and she's going to be a great chance.
And Emmy gets into this as well, just coming out of maidens.
Yeah, she's a nice filly. Yeah, the draw's no help to her, so she's going to need a lot of luck, but hey, she could be a first-ball player.
This is one race, I think, Craig, where we can shop around barrier draws with a bit of confidence.
Well, I think so. I mean, are you a stat man? Are you a stat me up, Steve?
I love a stat. Hit me.
Well, I tell you what, I read one this morning and I thought it was very interesting. Harness Jules in the last 3 occasions at Cambridge, 2014, 2016, 2018, 27 races, 26 favourites, 1 upsetter. So of those 27 races, 26 of them have been the top 3 favourites.
Who was the upsetter?
Don't ask me. It might have been Bodine Boaz. But yeah, what I'm saying is, if you're going to Cambridge to back roughies, turn around the car and go back home again. Simply don't do it. But in this race, I believe the True Fantasy at $1.45 is the bet. And if I'm playing value, I'm playing runner number 2, A Better You, the stablemate, because I believe it'll be in the trail at worst 3 the fence.
I thought Suntan was great shopping, at least on the place price around her, and Mark agreeing with us there. All 3 of us, True Fantasy, which is probably a hard thing to argue with.
Well, I think people will run her through a majority of multis along with Akuta. I think they'll be the 2 best back runners on the day. And I think the 3rd best back runner on the day for the multis will be Muscle Mountain.
Good race next, Craig. Mitre 10, 3-year-old Ruby. 5 Wise Men has been totally dominant across all distances, all sort of runs. He's got speed, he can stay. 175 his price. 650 for Out of My Way. He might just lack a little bit of early hustle, I thought. If he had that early speed, he's probably good enough to grind it out and win a race like this. Regular tyres, $7. I'm quite surprised the price discrepancy. Time Up the Hill, I reckon, is one of those horses that each and every start Through the whole year, bookmakers have given you 20% more than what they should have around her. She always starts overs.
She's a filly that has just kept improving and kept improving. I believe myself the trip to Auckland's actually made her, Matt. I think she may be a length and a half better now than what she was at Addington, and that's quite scary. We look at the gate speed here as they leave for 16.09, and I see Regular Tire getting out very quickly. We'll show a video a little bit later of his gate speed, and it is quite good. Leaf Stride, had a good talk to Phil Williamson about him yesterday. I think they'll go forward from the draw. He's a horse that does have very good gate speed. We saw at Ashburton. I think they've got to use the draw, and they've got to get in front of Five Wise Men. So that's how I see them coming out with Time Up the Hill, drawn a little bit awkwardly between the favourite and the third favourite.
Okay, she can blast the arm too.
She can. It's whether can she get across and find the front from either Leaf Stride, who I believe, if they find the front, ain't handing to anybody, and Regular Tire, probably if it hands, would only hand to Leaf Stride.
So she could sit 1-1 the trip Time Up
and
the Hill.
that could be the perfect place to be. If you're mapping a race, and that never works out how you think it will, but you've got to go in with some type of analysis and some type of betting plan. If you think that Time Up the Hill can get in front of Five Wise Men and it gets to the park position, you're in the 1-1. If you're Five Wise Men, one horse you don't want on your back is Time Up the Hill.
Well, let's see what Craig Edmonds has got to say about Five Wise Men, who was very good at the workouts on Saturday.
Yeah, really good. John was really happy with the way he trotted around the track. He said he handled it really good, the bends, and he felt really strong in that. So, yeah, and he sprinted up good. So, yeah, really happy.
Gate 7 at Cambridge Raceway at the Jewels hasn't been successful as of yet. John thinks the horse has got a bit of gate speed. What say you?
Yeah, I think he has. We never sort of asked him for it, but I don't know. As long as he does everything right, I'd be happy. You know, like it's only he's drawn out wide most of his starts anyway. So, so he can just go out a wee bit and follow him across and hopefully slot in somewhere. I don't think there's much of a difference between 6 and 7, is there really? So yeah. So no, he seems good in that. So as long as he does everything right, he won't be far away.
If he had to, will he be able to sit outside and do a bit of work and still win?
Yeah, he loves sitting out part. He's done it before at Addington, and that he's probably better. Like one night, John could have gone to the front with, I think Ben Hope was in front with one of theirs, and he told John to go to the front, but he just elected to sit parked, and he concentrates better out there. In front, he can be just knock off in that, and he just sort of goofs around a bit because we don't normally work him in front a lot. So, yeah, so he's probably better off following, like the first night at Auckland, he was perfect, in the 1-1. And the second night in front, he ran away from the pole and he just played around a bit. So, yeah, it won't worry him, I don't think, so, yeah.
I'm sure you would have had the stopwatch out on that workout.
Yeah.
What did he get home in?
Well, he raced against the paces, so they only went 2:48. It wasn't a mile, it was 2,200 metres, but I like his 28.5 down the back and more his 28.2 home. He was home at 56.7 for a trot, and what I liked is he trotted really squarely. He never looked like he was going to falter at any stage. I thought it was a beautiful trial heading into the Jewels. He's now had a run under his belt at Cambridge too, Matt, which is a huge advantage. Not a great draw, plenty of gate speed inside him, but clearly our dual Derby winner, the best 3-year-old trotter in the country.
I personally think Regular Tire's unders in the markets. I reckon he should be about $10, but you've got his gate speed highlighted here coming out of the arm. They did only get off the machine in 27, which isn't an overly strong lead time. How do you think he'd go if she does want to stay in front and cops pressure?
I wanted to show that video because it has got gate speed and we saw it there. But if you actually go back to the trotting derby at Auckland, drew barrier 5 and actually all but got across him at the start there. And it's only got salvo when it's inside to get across this time. Not as hard to get across 1 it is to get across 5. Just like the way it found the line here, Matt. I also like horses that haven't had a long preparation because this horse has been out for such a long time. I think it's only start 4 or 5 this time up. So it's still on the upward spiral. Great place to be around Cambridge if you're in the trail. Great top 3 chance. Absolute top 3 chance. Must have it in your first 4.
What did you make of Leaf Stride there?
Well, as I said, I talked to Phil yesterday and there was a little bit of an excuse on him, Matt. And I won't go on too much, but he got very fired up in the first running of that race last week. Of course, it was called a false start. He got onto the mobile barrier arm and then he went all the way around the back straight. He got very fired up. He basically, nervous energy, ran his race before they ran the second time. I'd put a line right through it. I would expect a much better performance this week.
I really think Time Up the Hill was the best value in the race. She's a really, really good filly. Five Wise Men, obviously, the horse to beat. Mark throwing out Mufasa Metro for us. He's been good enough for Mufasa Metro.
He's a funny horse because he went wonderful at Auckland in a big 3-year-old race and then he fell and scraped in by a nose in a very poor graded race at Cambridge.
Tough watch if you're on at the shorts.
Absolutely, but he got there. He has got gate speed. I'm just not convinced he's a push-button horse, and a mile around Cambridge you have to be that.
Okay, might attend 3-year-old Ruby at 2:05 on Sunday. McMillan Equine feeds 2-year-old Emerald at Group 1 featuring Akuta, 1:25. Cosmic Major, the only horse who has looked likely of beating him in his last 2 starts, 5:50. I personally, Craig, you've been around a lot longer than I have, but I haven't seen a 2-year-old win like he did in the Harness Million final, where he's worked 3 times during the run and left them to it. He is real good.
Well, he is very, very good, and that was his best performance this time in. I mean, Matt, he's had 4 starts. His first start in the kindergarten was good, but he went to a whole different level last start. This is going to leave at the 16:09. My Ultimate Chevron, actually quite good gate speed, showed it last start. Sugar Apple, not a lot. He went to the Cambridge trials on Saturday, just okay out. Then you get out to the major contenders. Major Perry, Akuta, Franco Mac lobbed in between them. But that's how I see them leaving the gate. This is what happened at the end of a very strongly run 1980, where he had no luck. 3 wide to the breeze, Matt. And in the green Cullen colours, look how he gets away on Cosmic Major, who had a really good trip in running. In fact, he followed him everywhere, but couldn't get within 3 lengths of him. So, mate, it's very hard to tip against him, but it's very hard also to take $1.25.
Look, from his barrier draw, he's likely to roll forward, control the race. What sort of time do you see them going? I can't see them going any sort of record speed here. If he finds his way in front, it's going to make it hard for a horse like You're So Fine, who was good at the workouts the other day, to get into it.
Well, what I want to say about this horse is he's the horse on the day that I do like as a horse you can back with a bit of confidence to run top 3, top 4. He's my value bet in this race. Now, you look at this race and, well, gee, these are only second stringers. He's racing him behind Ardent's Horizon and Sugar Apple. He actually ran him in 55.8 in this video, and he ran his last quarter in 26.7. Now, you go back to his very first run, Matt, it was in the kindergarten. He was behind Akuta that day. They've only met once. He was a length behind him, but they run the same splits. He then goes to the Diamond Creek Classic, which is a Group 2 again.
It was super.
Unbelievable. 2:39 for 2,200 metres. He beats a relatively good field. Not Jules contenders, but a good field. Then he goes to the Harness Jules trials. I talked to Nate on Friday and said, what are you going to do? He said, I'd give him a relatively quiet run at the trials. Well, by God, he runs home at 55.8. He runs a quarter in 26.5. He savaged the line, as you saw in that video, and round the back of the straight. He ain't going to beat Akuta. Akuta's going to probably lob the front and he'll probably win. But if he was to be beaten, this is the horse that can beat him.
Well, here's what Nathan Williams has said post that said workout on Saturday.
You're So Fine, he's a very, very good horse. We saw that at his last start. What's he done in the interim?
Yeah, he's just, Brett just wanted to space his races a little bit. We travelled up 10 days ago and he settled in really well. I'm really happy with him, and Brett's come up this week and no, we're really happy with him. So he's going to trial at Cambridge on Saturday, and no, I think he can go a big race.
He doesn't look a natural 2-year-old, Nate, but he's obviously got an enormous motor. What are you feeling from the second row draw? I know you're drawn awkwardly through the second row.
Yeah, it's an awkward draw, so we're just going to have to take our chances early, but you're right, he's a very nice horse, and you know, I definitely think he's a Derby horse as a 3-year-old. He's improved all the time, and I think he's even improved since his Diamond Creek Classic win, so don't be surprised if he you know, stretches a few.
Blinds on second row, Craig. He's going to get his chance, as you say, like with those thoughts there. Nathan's got a fair bit of confidence in this horse.
He's purchased for big money. I mean, enormous money to head across the Tasman, and they think he's a Derby horse. You heard him in that interview. Now, he's not an Akuta. He doesn't have the speed of him, but I tell you what, as a 3-year-old, actually went back to look at his family. He's actually from the Black Watch family. His granddad's Corby. Pretty good family, Matt. He's your value in this race. I don't think he'll beat Akuta, but I really do like him to run top 4.
Well, Akuta's been excellent on the clock in his last 2 wins. Ian Dobson hasn't won a duel since Joyful Joy back in 2009, and he's got a great chance of getting 2 on Sunday, with 2 of them, maybe the 2 most exciting horses that are in all day.
Absolutely.
Muscle Mountain to come as well.
I mean, you remember the days of Christian Cullen. I mean, God, that seems an awful long time ago. But yeah, he's got 2 realistic winning chances on the day. And Akuta, I mean, $1.25, I haven't seen that one that short in a 2-year-old brigade for an awful long time. Probably, I can't think of one in the 2-year-old brigade that was that short.
Okay, Cosmic Major have to race parked?
I think probably initially, unless they can get across at the start, and I don't see that happening, so may have to do it tough. And to be fair, he wasn't in the same ballpark as Akuta last start, so he's going to have to find 5 lengths in the space of 3 weeks.
And now there's a lot of cat and mouse talk for the 3-year-old Emerald, isn't there, with IRT. BD Joe drawn barrier 1. Stablemate Alta Wise Guy, they've said in the media during the week that they'll press the issue with him early. If they possibly can. He's $41 into 15s. We might get to Matt Peden very shortly and see what he's got to say about this race. Your initial thoughts when the markets came out, in your mind, instinct, what did it say to you? Did you want to back Krug or BD Joe?
I want to be on Krug. I think he's the best horse, and it's really interesting that the media hype that's what's evolved in the last 48 hours with Steve coming out and saying we'd like to lead without a wise guy and take a trail with BD Joe. This is how the map unfolds. BD Joe's way quicker off the gate. He'll lead. It's whether he lets Ultra Wise Guy go. Ultra Wise Guy led at the workouts on Saturday, but would you want to relinquish your advantage of getting a barrier draw here, Matt? That's my question. Would you want to relinquish your inside barrier draw to a $41 shot who's now moved in the market and hope that you can get back round again from the trail and find the front, or
Shan Noble comes across and drills him,
or your stablemate doesn't get you to the lane? So it is an enormous risk if you're using a good draw. Put it in my mind. If Krug wasn't in this race and it was Shan Noble sitting on the back of BD Joe, we wouldn't be having this conversation. As simple as that. I mean, it's because Krug is behind BD Joe that they're looking at to do this. Now, I've been in a lot of meetings and a lot of Group 1s where trainers have tried a lead trail scenario. You know, on one hand, I could count how many times it works. So you're taking a massive risk. Now, I hope it works for them. That's their plan. It may well do. I have great doubts it does.
Okay, Matt, with all of this chitter-chatter about the 3-year-old, the Emerald, what have you got to say in terms of the move around Ultra Wise Guy? Is that from you guys with his workout on Saturday, or is there a weight of money coming for him?
Matt, there was a reaction after the workout on Saturday, 41 now into a quote of $15. We've taken a bet of 300 at 16, another 300 at 15 and 200 at 15. And that's on top of the 500 at 100 to 1 that we took and the 500 at 50 to 1 we took before the fields came out in the futures market. So he's our biggest liability probably of the day. Outside of him, they're back BD Joe, 2000 at 440 and heavily tried in that top 3 market as well. But outside of the Telfer pair, they don't really want to be on anything else.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Matt. We'll chat to you a little later on about some of the other moves on the program. Well, Krug went to a trial where they went 155. That was after his emphatic Derby win, and then he's gone to the park on last Friday night with a couple of strong trials in between. BD Joe sat on his back this night, couldn't get past him. He actually edged clear from him. Shan Noble big in the Derby though, wasn't he?
Well, it was the only horse that sat in the running line that was still at the finish because it was lead trail 3 deep and 4 deep that ran the top 4 spots here, and he ran a courageous 50. He went on to perform well after that. But on Krug, Matt, he has just lifted again. I mean, he's had a long campaign, but he's gone from the Derby at Addington to the Derby at Auckland to Addington. Then he's gone 2 super trials, come to Alexandra Park last Friday night in a graded race, and runs home one of the fastest 800 metres I've seen in an awful long time. He ran 54 seconds at the park on Friday night.
I think he's the best he's been, looking at him.
He is not on a downward spiral. He just needs luck from the draw. And what will BD Joe do? Now, as I said, it's up in the air. Ultra Wise Guy, they may be very keen to do that lead Trenell scenario. But they could get on the track at the start of this race, and Ultra Wise Guy could warm up lethargically because he's got a 153 trial 5 days earlier, and they decide, well, maybe I don't want to come out of the gate with him, so BD Joe is your leader. There's a lot to unfold, and there's a lot of ducks and drakes that go on in harness racing, so you just watch this space.
Just quickly, do you think that if BD Joe does stay in front, Mark Purdon comes looking on Shan Noble, the lead would be there?
No.
Okay. So, therefore, Krug is in a great spot.
He's in a great spot, but
because he's the only horse off the front that you could possibly hand to if you're BD Joe.
I'm a great believer in you drive your own race. Don't worry about what the opposition do. I mean, if you're worried about the opposition and you're drawn barrier 1, you shouldn't have barrier 1.
Well, one man who won't be worried about the opposition is Crandell Getty, and Marc Cookson put it to him a short time ago that there will be a couple of scenarios for him on Sunday.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that one. Blair and I have actually been, Blair Owen's been very relaxed about it. We casually talked about it several days ago, and we just put it down to 3 scenarios. He might get a really good trip and come out and win, or he might get an unlucky trip and run midfield, or he could run last. But the only guarantee, the sun will get up the next day, and he is a racehorse, and like every participant, we love to win every start, but we know in logistics that doesn't happen. But we're as excited to be in it. You've got to be humble that we're down to the last 12 of all the 3-year-olds in New Zealand, and just to be in it, and if he does win, what's a bonus?
What did you make of the run last week in the final hit-out race at the park?
Well, funny enough, not that the general public know, but it's the fastest 600 metres he's ever got home in a race, and he was enormous. It's hard to say that when you run second, but if we can just hold him at that tempo from now till this coming Sunday, he'll be enormous.
Well, Betty Joe is the horse that Krug follows out, and he was only narrowly beaten in the Sire Stakes. Finally, was probably a little bit unlucky that he didn't actually win the race, but he showed awesome gate speed in this, Craig.
He did, and this is at the top of the lane. The gate speed at the start of the race was crucial because he got across from barrier 4. This is a Group 1 back in November, but it highlights that when he finds the front, and this is 1980, a mile's really his go. Inside draw, used the gate speed, got decisions to make after that, but no doubt he maps as your leader. And it's all about faith. I mean, he went off the boil, but that's Krug running into 4th there, so he beat him home there in the Sire Stakes, albeit Krug not being at his best. But he's a very good horse around Cambridge. I think he's unbeaten there, Matt. He's 2 starts, 2 wins there. It's his track.
Is American Dealer the forgotten horse?
Absolutely forgotten horse. A lot of people look at those workouts on Saturday and say, gee, what an awful performance, American Dealer.
He was jogging.
He went great. Now, there is a reason why he didn't pace so good. He didn't carry the one-legged spreader. Now, normally he goes around left-handed. He does that. They took it off for the workouts on Saturday. They put it back on again this week. He still ran home very good, and he maps to get a lovely run through behind Pace and Pride. Don't drop American Dealer. You're sitting back now, write down runner number 10, put it in your first 4.
Regazo Mac?
Horror draw. Don't know how he gets into the race. Yeah, just going to need a lot of luck.
Okay, race number 8 is the 4-year-old Ruby, and we will see Muscle Mountain drawing off the front, 160. In from 170, Bolt for Brilliance, excellent animal. They just shouldn't win like that, like he did at the park last night. 35 metres, 2200. That's, if you're a punter, the rule, pointless backing a horse like that.
As I said, Matt, they
generally don't win.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Temporale get beat from a similar draw. It takes a very good horse to do that, and he ran him in 55 seconds to do it. He's an exceptional animal who's drawn awkwardly against another exceptional animal in the form of Muscle Mountain. He's 170 to 160, Matt, and he is the benchmark of the horses at the moment. Speed map-wise, he's got good gate speed.
This seems logical, doesn't it?
It does, and a massive advantage having a stable mate in the race, and probably one of the best chances in the race in Midnight Dash, because he's
a good horse too.
Hasn't been that much
Midnight Dash,
inferior
yeah.
to Muscle Mountain, just a length behind, but they'll work forward from their draws. American Pride just gets off okay, and then you've got the intermediate grade trotters in between them.
Well, Bolt for Brilliance had a really good hit out here, coming wide last mile, 156.7 from the Alex Park website, 55.7, 27.4. He's all class.
He's all class. I mean, you take Muscle Mountain out of the race and he's $1.60. But he's going to have to work through from the second row. He's not getting any favours from his draw because he's going to end up following up Calvin's luck. I don't know where that's going to put him. I think he needs a little bit of interference in the form of a few gallopers that alleviates that room for him to get a little bit closer, Matt. I just don't see him being in front of Muscle Mountain.
What could Muscle Mountain run, to put it into perspective about what Bolt for Brilliance? Could he go 53?
I think you'll go around 54.
Okay.
And I think if you're going that, you've got to go 53 to beat it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it makes it as good as Bolt for Brilliance is, and I'm a massive fan of him. Don't get me wrong, Matt. I love this horse. He's made me an awful lot of money, but you've got to bet not with your heart. You've got to bet with logic, and logic tells you that he's behind Muscle Mountain at the bell. It's a big, big hill to climb.
Well, the Fred Shaw Trotting Champs was a great race for Ben Hope, which we'll get to him very shortly with his first Group 1 winner. But the start of this race with the gate speed that Muscle Mountain has showed, had he not shown the gate speed in this race here, we might not be coming in with as much confidence.
Well, let's have a look at this, because this is Muscle Mountain crossing Bolt for Brilliance at the start. Splash Cola drew barrier 2 and is one of the quickest mares out from 1980, so very quick start. Rolled it onto the finish. Now that's Muscle Mountain outside Sunday Sun. Now, Sunday Sun's the best trotter in Australasia and runs past it. Bolt for Brilliance, 3rd, Midnight Dash, 4th. Great video to show, because Sunday Sun was an age group trotter and was going around in the Jules Mat. On Sunday, he'd be $1.20. This horse is $1.65, and he runs past him. Then he goes and has a break. He comes back after a 6-week spell, and he crushes him again. Yeah. He's had a great lead into the Jules on Sunday. I think on the day, if I was having one bet, this trotter is the bet.
If you're in the Cambridge region and you want to go to the Jules, you'd go there just to see him in the flesh, because he is an absolute beauty. And what a thrill it was for one Ben Hope to pick up his first Group 1 aboard this very, very talented trotter. It's the best he's warmed up, Muscle Mountain. With a run under his belt, he strips a really fit horse tonight, Muscle Mountain, and I think that he's got the X factor to go right through the grades and be competitive with the big dogs. Fred Shaw Memorial New Zealand Trotting Champs, here we go.
I was pretty happy with how he warmed up that night. I was pretty confident that he was going to be, in a good headspace, and that he was. Just going up behind the gate, I was the intention was to obviously go back with the horse. He hasn't really trotted the best out of the gate in the past, so I was just focused on keeping him trotting. But as the gate left, he's feeling really strong, so I thought we'd just press on, and lucky enough, Tony relented a little bit and let us go past him and get that front. So, as soon as I got there, I didn't really want to go at too quick of a speed, so I knew that something might come around and take it off me, because I was conscious of the fact it was the first time burning the gate. I don't really like to keep running them once I've done that. So, when Bolt for Brilliance took the front of us, I was pretty happy. He's a type of horse that you want to be following, because he'll get to the lane if you need to. And then I looked around the corner, saw Sunday's Sun coming, so I knew that I'd probably get pushed back to 3 back, but in saying that, following 2 good horses, 3 back's not the worst place to be. My boy was feeling great. He was trotting super, and he was on the bit without being keen, so I was happy with how we were travelling. Yeah, about this point, I knew that Mark was, really wanting me to go out. He was trying to flush me out, but I knew that we were past 1,000, so I knew that I could push him out without, I could wait until I really needed to go. Then Mark tries to push up a bit, so I thought, this will be my chance. And I just slowly creep up without really putting too much pressure at this stage. But I was pretty conscious of the fact of being close to Sunday's Sun, because I know he's a bloody hard horse to get past at any stage, let alone when you're a few lengths away. So I was pretty keen to be on his wheel, at the 400. So I pulled the hood off. He's feeling good. I still think second might be my lot, because Sonny is a very, very hard horse to get past. About this point, I knew that it would be in for the fight. And then I'm urging my boy, and then about this point I knew that my champ had got me my first Group 1, which was awesome.
Here we go, Sunday's Sun and Muscle Mountain set down to fight it out. Muscle Mountain moves to Sunday's Sun, and it's Ben Hope in his first Group 1. Muscle Mountain got there, beat Sunday's Sun, 3rd Bolt for Brilliance. What a horse race.
Oh, it was phenomenal. Yeah, no, it was a childhood dream, and it was just an amazing moment. Johnny's been a huge idol of mine, so for him to be the first to congratulate me was a pretty special feeling.
Did you see Mum and Dad on the way past?
Yeah, I saw them on the way past. I saw them jumping up and down, and so I thought I'd give them the thumbs up. That was a pretty cool moment, seeing the parents who train the horse and have given me so much. So it was cool to have that special moment.
Amazing that a horse can bring you a thrill like that, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yep. No, it's you probably ask the average Joe, and they think, how can a person get a thrill from that? But being around the horses your whole life, it's horses just they're my whole life, and it's just awesome to be able to drive them.
Well, in terms of a young driver, Craig, high pressure situations don't get much more high pressure than sitting behind a horse that everybody's talking about. Yep. He's the favourite for a Group 1, and he might just feel the pressure a little more than in the Fred Shaw, where he was second, third favourite.
Oh, I think he will. I mean,
he's handling it great though.
But I like his attitude. I like how he's been aggressive in his drives. I mean, he wasn't afraid to cross Bolt for Brilliance at the start in that race. He wasn't afraid to go forward with Midnight Dash in a race that he settled back in the field a fortnight ago.
That was a pearler of it. He's driven
This is where you kind of get a large head on a very young shoulder, and he's a smart boy, Ben. He's learning a lot from Ricky May, he's learning a lot from his mum and dad, and he's a talent for the future.
Good bit of initiative there. Midnight Dash, the value clearly for mine. Mark suggesting Kiwi Tricks, who was very good at Alex Park the other night, but what did you make of him?
I did have a quick talk to Nate about him. Yeah. He just said if he ran top 5, he'd be very happy. Yeah. He said, I can't beat Muscle Mountain, I can't beat Bolt for Brilliance, and I'm certainly not as good as Midnight Dash. But there's things that can unfold in trotting. There can be gallopers. He's a horse that'll be up here for the uncut gems. I think that's his target in a fortnight.
Well, Nathan's got Pembroke Playboy heading around in the last, which is, for mine, the race of the day. 4:21. It's not going to be a long day waiting around for the last, Craig. We'll be sitting there and we'll be on the edge of our seats for this. $4 can go in from $5. We might even bring Matt Peden in again very shortly once we've talked about the early speed of the race. Bad to the Bone drifting out to $4.60. South Coast Arden, $3.80. And then we'll find the race favourite, Copy That. Well, if he can get up in this, that's really just going to round out Jules,
Herculean performance if he can win this, because it doesn't map and it doesn't look like any way he can get into this race, the way the race unfolds. And yet he's your $3.20 favourite, and they've obviously taken money from Matt. And I think when we look at the map, that is why it's going to be so difficult for him to get into this race. Kango, great gate speed. Tommy Lincoln, incredible gate speed. Blair Orange, key drive. Steal a Show led last start. Bad to the Bone set outside, Copy That in a tail a mile. And then you get out to South Coast Arden, who's at barrier 7, crossed him in a heartbeat at Addington. Fantastically fast front row. And you got your favourite draw in the second row. Matt Peden, can you tell me, why is the money still coming for Copy That from barrier number 13?
Craig, I think there's a bit of loyalty for Copy That, just a few of the fans that often get behind him. He's been one of the best backed in the race, 2,000 at 340, 500 at 340, another 300 at 340. But then on the flip side, we go to the front row, number 2, Kango. He's been the one they've been on since the markets have opened. He's got more bets on him than any other runner in the race, 2,000 at 480. A number of $100 and $200 bets on him as well, and a 3,500 top 3 bet at 185 as well.
That market with Kango and the money you've taken at $5, Matt, was that immediately? Because I would suggest that obviously that Cambridge workout would have had a lot to do with that. I mean, he led in that workout there. They've got a bit of confidence they can go forward from the draw. He's a last start winner. He's a local, and obviously Arna's Donnelly's team going well at the moment. Early money, was it immediately after that workout?
Interestingly, no. Like, quite a lot of that support, including the $2,000 bet, came before the workout, and then we've had the flow of support of the smaller bets that have come since then.
Matt, is there anything else in the race that they're willing to have a spec on? Is Pembroke Playboy won the second row something that they're happy to have a look at, or is he friendless?
At the moment, Matt, Copy That, Kango, the only two they're interested in. About 95% of the total investment on the races are through those two horses. And I think once the other ones around those two start to drift out from their quotes they're at now, we might see some support for them.
Okay, very good. Well, Craig, what more can we say about this race? There's going to be a power of pressure.
Yep.
Copy That's going to have to sit 3 wide the trip.
Yep. It's a tough ask, Matt, and I think you got to sit back and you got to back something. You got to work out.
Well, that's all I want to do is sit back and watch it rather than try and figure out what's going to happen, because it's just hurting my head.
Well, that's right. I mean, this is a super performance, winning the Taylor Mile. And have a look at the horse that's outside him. That's Bad to the Bone, who was outside him the entire race in a Group 1, and Copy That out-muscled him inside the last 50 metres. Different this week, though, Matt, because Bad to the Bone's drawn the front, Copy That's drawn the second row. Didn't think there was a lot between them this day, and I thought the messenger was equally good for Bad to the Bone. Copy That had a run at the workouts on Saturday. He actually ran a 54 half around Cambridge and went phenomenal on Saturday. I know he's got a bad draw. He's the best horse in the race. I'm just not prepared to take $3.
And it would have been a good blowout for him too, being a colt.
Well, I think so. And I think Ray said a fortnight ago, he's a fat little fella that needs to be worked quite hard. So he's a horse that takes a lot of work, and he's just a naturally athletic horse. So you just got to keep pummeling into it.
Great information on the Lincoln Farms website.
Absolutely. I mean, if you go to their Lincoln Farms website at the moment, I think the boys Ian Middleton, Barry Lichter have done a phenomenal job on horses that are favourites in the Jewels for the last 14 years, the records of them, where they've drawn, stuff like that. So great read also on Copy That as well. So Lincoln Farms website, the place to go.
And they'll have Tommy Lincoln in the last as well. South Coast Arden, had he drawn 1 to 5, he might have been a horse that you could bet with a bit of confidence in this, with the way that he was winning at the Addington Raceway. Just explosive, and he's got the right lady on board, Natalie Rasmussen.
Just where does he get to, Matt? I mean, my school of thought is that Tommy Lincoln's going to bore it up, can go early on, because he's got Copy That the race, and Tommy Lincoln's best chance is always when he's been to the front, so it's no surprise that he'll go forward. Of course, Blair Orange picks up the drive on Tommy Lincoln. Where does that put South Coast Arden? Because if there's that much speed, you're out wide going around that first bend at Cambridge, and you could be 3 and 4 wide, because in between them is Steal the Show, who's led at its last start, and Bad to the Bone. So if Natalie could get to the park position, Matt, I believe it could win the race. But I'm not sure how it's going to get there with so much speed over a short journey.
I'll give you a roughie.
Yep.
Real roughie.
Go on.
3 the second row, Laver. If they go, he went 151 at Nelson at the start of the year. If they go anywhere around that 150 to 153 range, he'll beat more home than beat him. He's a real genuine horse. And he's at 40 to 1.
Well, I tell you what, with Lever, he's no hope if they go 155.
Yeah.
But he's a damn good chance if they go 153.
He'll just keep
because
trucking.
he doesn't actually. He's a better horse when they go hard than when they go slow. So I understand what you're saying because that's the tempo of this race. My roughie has won the second row. And is a horse that's competed against Amazing Dream, Self Assured, and the best of the open class company in Pembroke Playboy. I know the draw's a shocker, but he's going to be on the market pegs. And if you've got all these good horses 3 wide doing it, and the gaps happen to open up at the 600 and he got off, you could see him cruising in behind them doing absolutely no work when they've done all plenty. And he's a horse fresh on the scene. Missed the workouts last week. He's beaten the best horses in the country. And he's at massive money because he's drawn the second row.
Even though it's winter, I'm sure people are going to stick around till 4:21. It's
a race of the day. It'll be the
cracking
fastest race of the day. There's just no doubts about it. It's a phenomenal record in this race. Favourites have won 12, I think, the 13 years in the 4-year-old brigade. So it's a race where normally the favourites win. Not guaranteed this year.
Marc Cookson's brought us some really good information this morning. He'll be along on Jules Day as well, Sunday, to do very much the same. Thanks for joining us today, Mark, and some great info there from Pukekohe.
Well, Trust the Punters have found a few winners, Matt and Craig. In terms of a best bet for me, for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure Muscle Mountain is drawn to dominate in his particular race, so he's the best bet for me on the program in the 4-year-old Ruby. I think he's drawn to dominate. Ben Hope will certainly press the go button on Muscle Mountain. In terms of a couple of runners to find in the markets that are opening top 4 this coming Saturday with the TAB, I think Mufasa Metro and the 3-year-old Ruby, a race in which there will be quite a bit of gate speed, and the favourite's drawn a pretty awkward gate in 7 and 5 Wise Men. I think Mufasa Metro can use its gate speed for the Michelle Wallace-Bernie Hackett team and is a decent top 4 chance off the back of that. And in that competitive last race on the program, very, very keen on a couple of runners there. If Italian Lad gets some luck in the running, it can really come home strongly and hit the line well. Italian Lad, and of course with the gate speed factor and the Blair Orange factor, I think Tommy Lincoln will be a pretty good top 4 chance as well from his barrier draw. Well, I've found a new friend down here behaving himself now here at Lincoln Farms. That brings to a close our coverage out of South Auckland, Pukekohe. As George Simon would say, to borrow his phrase, let's bring it on, and we'll catch you boys on Jules Day this Sunday.
Nice work, Mark. Looking forward to your input there for IRT Jules Day on Sunday. Exciting.
Mate, I'm looking forward to it. I really love Cambridge.
There'll be something wrong with you, if you would.
Absolutely. It's a day where people walk up, you're right next to the track. I know Ashburton's a great venue, but you're a little further away. This way you can basically touch the horses that close to you. If you want to get a lot of information, go on HRNZ. As I said, they've got a feature preview come out Thursday afternoon with a lot of information on form. Basically put it into a book, take it to Cambridge Raceway and get involved.
11:30 Sunday.
Yep.
You and I sit down and the likelihood of change between now, Wednesday and Sunday, you've seen 13, 14 editions of the
There's
Jules.
something that will unfold in the next 72 hours where there's a temperature taken from a horse.
Hopefully it's not to do with you and I.
Absolutely. I hope you get up here to start off with because I don't want left to be doing it, mate. But it's going to be a day that I think the Cambridge Club can be proud of, and I hope it's not the last Jules.
Warm day, what do you reckon they can go on the last?
152.
152?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
152. That'd be nice. I'm excited. Like a little boy in a lolly shop. Thank you to Craig Thompson and the team who have brought you the IRT Harness Jules special here from Trackside. Marc Cookson as well, who's brought us all of that gold information, and we look forward to hearing more on Sunday. We'll see you from 11:30. It's IRT Harness Jules Day. Until then, all the best.